pleasure to get
Andrew.
you on the 813 Exchange Show. Today we have Ramon with DI Coffee Bar, and super excited for this one. We're going to tell our audience what is DI Coffee Bar in a nutshell.
DI Coffee Bar, 11 years ago, we had our building office next door, and then we had to do something with this particular space. And because I'd been in the restaurant business for half of my life, we eventually circled back to my wife saying, let's open a coffee shop, which we did. And it was a difficult start, if you will, but we hung with it. And it's, over the course of the last 11 years, it's been a really successful, very, a real good thing for us and the community here on Davis Island as well.
So what got you into the coffee space? Is that just your wife wanted to do something different than what you were currently doing?
We wanted to rent the space to someone. Our building office was next door, and we wanted to rent it to someone. But everybody that wanted to rent it was a mom and pop.
Yeah.
They know how to make a good soup, but they weren't restaurant people.
Yeah.
And we wanted someone there that knew what they did. So we didn't want to experiment with the mom and pop that had never done it before. So eventually, after going through several different people through here, we finally decided to do it ourselves. You know what? Let's just do a coffee shop, do it simply. I had never done coffee in my restaurant career, but it's a restaurant, and there was nothing more difficult than doing that. And actually, running a coffee shop is far easier than having a full-blown restaurant operation, which is what I had been doing for 25 years over the course of my younger life.
Yeah, definitely. So, going from it, it definitely seems a lot easier. Is that because it's like less of a staff, less people less things on the menu, combination of things?
A lot of things like that. You don't have servers. You're not dealing with table service. Everything is run from the very front. And we don't have the heavy food menu that you would carry, the ingredients and all the downsides of a full service operation. We've had really good management. We've had fabulous staff. Over the course of the 11 years that we've been here, the staff has been by far the very best thing that we do here. The kids that work here are beyond exceptional human beings. So that's a big part of our success.
Yeah, definitely. And, this area, like, the first time that I came here was, I was across the street at Margarita's. And then my dad's like, oh, that place, they have, like, the little coffee shop open. Like, let me go get an espresso. So I think it's good because you guys gather in this community. Like, for the people that haven't been here, traveled here at Davis Island, you guys have a strip where you have a lot of foot traffic to versus just trying to Google a coffee shop. You guys probably, or I would assume, have like the majority of your customers being that local Davis Island customer.
And that's been the case, and it's and the good thing about it is it's grown. With over the course of time, the DI Coffee Bar name has gone out more and more. So we get a lot of people come in off the island. And we've continued to grow this shop by adding things to it over the course of the time that we've been here. It was never just we were going to do coffee. It was always in our mind we were going to do coffee and we put that on the sign back when we were building this out, that it was DI Coffee Bar and, because there was always going to be something else. We do coffee, we start selling wine, we put wine station in. We work our way back to here where we are right now. This was a back alley back here. We converted it into the jazz nights that we're doing and the music nights that we do here. The high schools come out here and do orchestra. They do their own jazz bands. We use this space quite a bit for local high schools and people in local talent. So.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this back area you have is nice here. So when this back area, was it originally here when you had this location? Is it something that was just nothing before and you expanded upon it?
This was an alley.
Yeah.
This back here was an alley,
Yeah.
in the worst sense of the world, of the word. We developed it, little by little. We started putting pieces together. Started with this little section, and we expanded it across until we finally got it to this stage right over here. And we're going to continue to mess with it back here. There's some things that we're doing coming up in the future. But as far as an entertainment venue and a place for people to sit outside, this is a fabulous, fabulous place to do it. Especially the 6 or 7 months that we have this kind of weather here.
Yeah, and I think the thing that's nice is like, a lot of younger people feel like they can't go out anywhere where it's not about going out and drinking and stuff like that. And you guys are setting the tone because like you guys have like, you were telling me before the show, which you could tell the guests is you have jazz nights out here. You have this place open from, or these people coming from 7:30 to 10. So it's like there's more to do in a going out manner rather than just going out to your standard bar and having a bunch of beers. You can come out in a more chill environment.
I'll tell you, the good thing about the jazz night is really, and it's refreshing, is that people come out here and they listen to the music. It's a really, it's not overpowering. When you go to a bar and you're out there and the band is playing and they're making the crank it up to infinity.
Yeah.
It's
over
too
here,
loud. Yeah. Over here, you can carry on a conversation even from where we're sitting midway here, especially when you go a little bit further to the back. So it's a place where you can socially gather and at the same time enjoy the people that are playing. And the people that have been playing here for the 13 months that we've been doing this are phenomenal musicians. These aren't just 3-4 hacks that are back here working. These guys are very, very talented jazz players. And Dominic, who's the leader of this group back here, continues to bring in guests and add. And so we're always listening to a trumpet player, a sax player. The drummer is beyond good. So it's always a revolving cast of players that are here. And the crowd that is here, this is standing room only on Friday nights over here. That's what it's grown to.
Yeah.
So, it's a really cool place to sit down and enjoy the evening, because it's really nice back here in the night.
Yeah, no, I think it's important because, there's just, like, a lot of places, they close super early, and it's like, just what I was saying before, it's like a lot of people feel like pressured, like, hey, if I'm going to go out and do something, it's like the standard, like, bars to go out to, but, like, having a nice jazz night, stuff like that, gives people an alternative option that aren't trying to go crazy, but they're just trying to get out of the house a little bit and get some fresh air.
Over here, it's funny because jazz nights, there's people playing chess.
Yeah.
They're enjoying their company while the jazz is more of a background for what they're doing here. So, overall, when they come in, it's a pretty comfortable thing. You're not worried about, a drunk bumping into you, if you will, and being in a rowdy place. It's pretty chill back here, and a lot of regulars. A lot of older guys, a lot of younger people. And on the open mic night that we do on a Friday night, once a month, first Friday, the players that come in that night are good players. These kids, and they're kids. It surprises me how well, some of these kids play here. The sax player, trumpet players, singers, guitar players that come up here and play with the band. They're super talented. We've invited 2 or 3 of them to come back and play with us, and get paid to play here. So it's been an evolution, if you will, of what's happened here. And Dominic and this little area back here has gotten accolades from local press, for being a pretty cool place to listen to jazz to. So it's win-win and more win for us over here, and we're really happy with it.
Yeah, so obviously a couple weeks back we had 2 back-to-back hurricanes. We had Milton and Helene. From what I was seeing on social media, it seemed like the storm surge from Helene was worse because usually the right side of the storm is where it gets the most surge. At least from what I saw online, Helene looked like it hit pretty bad. So how did you guys kind of get through that and the rest of the strip and all the other operators, down here?
We were underwater. Just below this table
Mhm.
is where the water came to. So everything that we had back here, the fire pits that we had back here, the lamps that we lost a lot of things. And in particular inside, we lost everything inside. All the refrigeration, the freezers, furniture that we had in there, wine that we didn't lift up high enough. We didn't realize it was going to be that high. So we wound up taking a huge hit. But we're home builders. I mean, that's what our primary job is. So it didn't affect us as much as it did the other guys that are on this block.
Yeah.
Because we were able to come in right away. I'm talking the next day and start taking this place apart, and more importantly, putting it back together again. So our downtime wasn't as bad as it has been for others. There's others on this block that haven't opened yet. And we've been open now, I don't know, 5 weeks, 6 weeks or so. It's that was a huge benefit for us, that we're home builders primarily, and restaurant operators second.
Yeah, no, it definitely helps. So, do you have any, stored material in the yard you bring over, some drywall repair, sheetrock, anything?
You kidding me? It was terrible that night. I'm watching because we didn't lose power here, and I'm watching the video feed, watching the water go up and up and up, and I've got a painting in there of an airplane that's my favorite thing in the whole world. It's a huge painting.
Yeah.
And I was really worried about losing that. And the water came up to just about an inch below before it started to recede. And we were able to save that. It was a terrible, terrible experience. I knew it was really bad when Ryan, who was one of our better baristas and was a great kid here, rolls up in a paddle. He rolls up in a canoe.
Yeah.
At the front. He's paddling around the front, looking inside. I knew it was bad then. I'm watching him do that at 2 o'clock in the morning. It wasn't real heartwarming to do that, but it was. We made our way out of it. It's coming back. That's what it is.
Yeah, definitely. No, I mean, it definitely impacted a lot of houses. This area I felt like got worse than like some areas in like downtown St. Pete. And downtown St. Pete, it's like you would think, right on the Gulf, but it wasn't really that. It was just the surge was a surge.
That water was terrible. And it hurt so many people on Davis Island. A lot of the apartments and people that come to us regularly, a lot of the apartments, first floors were all underwater. Those haven't been able to come back yet.
Yeah.
So there's a lot less people on the island than there were 2 or 3 months ago. So it's not quite as dense as it was. It's going to take a while to get it back, but everybody's putting it back. I think the attitude has been very positive here about getting it back together again, and continuing with island life, which is a really cool place. Davis Island is the only place to live in Tampa. I'll preach that to the day that I'm long gone.
Yeah. No, Davis Island's definitely a different scene from Tampa. It's like, the thing that I like about Tampa, though, is like I felt like, in New York, the city's just a city, right? Like in Tampa, everything's like you have like urban areas, you have city areas, you have like islandy beach areas. And that's the nice thing about like living right here is like everything is like a 10-minute drive away. It's like DI obviously has their own mini beach. It's not the same as Paso Robles or St. Pete,
right.
but it's like you still have your mini beach here. You have like your residential type of neighborhoods, and then on top of that, it's like the city's right there. Especially for the Lightning, who I assume for our listeners, you get some big sports players that come on and stop on by in here.
Yeah, we have one of the best things about living on Davis Island, and I'll preach this forever, is that it's a family community.
Yeah.
And because there's so many, the ball fields, the tennis court, the parks, it's a very, very nice place to raise kids, a safe place to raise kids. And this is a community where people know each other. It's a small town is what this is. This is like a small town, if you will. So the community itself is pretty well knit. You could be sitting in here next to a Lightning player or a bazillionaire.
Yeah.
And just a regular old guy here, and it's all the same. So it's the mix that's here and on the island is a really range and mix, but a really cool place to live. There's just so many things to do here. It's nice.
Yeah, I did, when I was doing my first business, which was like detailing, I did a lot of pressure washing jobs down here. And, I never had a bad customer here, put it that way. And every customer I did have here tipped me more than I should have been tipped on every single job. I think they just like to see a young guy at the time right out of college, or in college too, going door to door doing physical labor. So everybody was extremely nice in this area, and there's in different parts of, obviously not just Florida, but like the country, you see different cultures where people are a lot more uptight. And I think Davis Island takes island time into real effect, and just island personality into real effect. Not that they're like a hippie type, but what they are is just a lot more calm and laid back people, and it's a great business what you have here for the type of brand of person that lives here.
Okay, so I didn't say this to you. After the storm, we were open quicker than almost everybody here. And we for the first 4 days, and we reopened, but we didn't have the espresso machine back yet because we had lost that in the storm. Mm-hmm. But for 4 days, we served coffee, pastries for free, and folks they'd come up, they'd get it for free, but they tipped crazy tipping.
Yeah.
Where the kids that worked, the baristas that had been out of work for a few days, picked up some serious tips. I'm talking about people tipping 100, tipping 20s. This tip jar was full of 20s.
Yeah.
It was a really good time for the baristas that had got hit too. A lot of the kids lost their place to live as well. Mm-hmm. So, it's a community. They come out, your coffee's free. Here's a 50 in the tip jar. So it was a nice experience, and it was 4 days of that.
Yeah.
Before we finally got the espresso machine up, and we opened for real. We just had a lot of cleanup to do here. We had to get the place remediated before we were going to reopen. We wanted to be safe, and thus, until we felt that way, we did not open.
Yeah, so I looked at a couple of the menu items before coming here. What's the one or two that it's like, this one's just super popular?
I tell you, we've got a sign on the front door, and we have Tampa's second best Cuban sandwich. We make a pretty good Cuban sandwich here. That we do a burrito, a breakfast burrito with sausages. Been a huge seller for us. And then obviously the coffee that we sell here, the Panther coffee brand, that we searched for that brand. Because my wife and I, Marilyn, we used to go to Portland often. And there was a coffee company there called Stumptown. And they're probably still there. But we wanted their brewer, their roaster. Mm-hmm. So we went to Portland looking for him. He was in New York. We went to New York looking for him, and he'd gone to Miami. So we finally found him in Miami. And Joel has been a great friend of ours. We met them down there at Panther Coffee in Miami. At Wildwood is where they were. And we've been working with them for the entire time we've been open here. And they've been a fabulous, fabulous partner. Wonderful people. And their coffee brand is really, really good. And we'll stay with them forever.
Yeah, no, it's some vendors you get really lucky with, right? You have a good relationship with them, and sometimes you got to go through a couple hoops to find those people.
And we did too.
Yeah.
We specifically searched for that coffee. We liked it so much when we would travel to Portland that we did. We said that's who we want to use, and we did. We went looking. So that was a really positive move for us overall, because our coffee is pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. And coffee-wise, what's like the most popular thing somebody gets when they stop by here?
They're lattes. We sell a lot of latte. Another thing we did here is that we buy Naviera coffee, which is a Cuban coffee.
Yeah.
Because when we did this shop, one of the side reasons you asked about this shop earlier, one of the side reasons we did the coffee shop was because I had to drive to McDill Avenue to get coffee, my Cuban coffee and my Cuban toast from the Cuban restaurant there on McDill.
Yeah.
And I said, well, heck, let's just do it here. So we do Café con Leche here.
Yeah.
We do Cuban toast here, obviously the Cuban sandwiches, and it's a 30-second walk from my office to here.
Yeah.
And it's pretty easy to get my 2 a day, which is, I'm on the first one right now.
Yeah, it's good too. I mean, when you're working on your other stuff, you could always keep an eye on the shop.
Sure.
You know?
And the shop is well managed. You know, the
Yeah.
kid that we have running the shop, we're really happy with her. She's been great for the shop. In fact, it's funny, we have a kid that's back there right now who's here from New York.
Mhm.
So a lot of the kids have been working with us. They'll come to town for whatever reason, and we'll put them behind the bar. They'll call up and say, you got a shift? And we always find a place for them to come in and come back. We've had baristas with us for a long time. Our turnover here is next to none. It's a good group of kids. We hire them very carefully. We're looking for nice people. We're not
Yeah.
looking for a barista. We're looking for nice people, and we managed to find them. You know, we've been very, very lucky, and that is certainly one of the best things that we do here. Is the kids that we have here.
Yeah, so talk about that. You have, you know, like when somebody says they have very little turnover for something that's like jobs that are hourly and not particularly like salary, a lot of people think that's impossible to do, right? They think it's impossible to have, you know, strong, you know, or low turnover when you have hourly wage positions. But how do you feel like you guys have done a good job at that?
You know what? First of all, the kids are good kids. They do well here. That's probably it's probably a great reason for turnover being so small. I mean, that certainly doesn't hurt because they do well here. You know, so it makes it easier to keep them. But our turnover here, knock on wood, is next to none.
Mhm.
The only time kids leave here is when they go to their college career.
Yeah.
You know what? We've got a doctor to be back there. We've got kids that are in school, and when they leave us, it's usually because they're going to their profession, and not because they're going to another coffee shop. You know, they usually stay here. In fact, it's funny. I see them here all the time. We got kids behind the bar. There's one of them here earlier. He's not working today. He's over here drinking coffee. A lot of these guys hang out over here, and I tell them, man, why don't you go find some place to go? You know, why don't you go somewhere else? Because they like coming here too. So that's an indicator of the culture, the kind of culture that we've tried to grow here. You know, and most of them have come into us without any coffee knowledge. You know, we prefer to hire a good kid and then worry about teaching them what it is that we want to do here, as opposed to hiring free agents.
Yeah.
And having them come in and they've already done it and this and that. We're like a hockey organization or any other organization. We like to bring them in and bring them through the system and cultivate what they know into our system, if you will. Very much like a sports team.
Yeah, no, you're developing talent rather than
Absolutely.
recruiting it.
You know, and they and the beauty of it is that they become part of the culture, and that's a big part. Honest to goodness, it's almost like as if you had an athletic organization growing people from within, because it's a big part of what we do. We're getting ready to open another shop next door, what we call side goods, DI side goods. It's going to have a variety of items that are good for local folk, but we're going to hire for DI Coffee Bar through the DI side goods, so that they'll start there. When we hire somebody for the DI Coffee Bar, they're going to be working the side goods first, so they'll learn what we're doing next door, which is different than what we're doing here, and bring them in so that they become aware of the entire package of what we're trying to provide once we get that open, which is coming up. We're not that far away now from opening.
Yeah, so did you, have you owned that place or you just purchased it or are you permitting it now?
No, we are in permitting. We have been. We've been fiddling with it for probably 7-8 months. The storm set us back really hard, because when we got stormed, it damaged what we were doing, and we had to focus here. But we kind of let that sit. But now we're full speed back, trying to get that ready to go. So it's not long.
Yeah, so I understand that. Interesting. So it seems like the future with DI Coffee Bar is the DI side store, right?
The DI side goods is going to be it's going to be the concept that we thought would fly with this over here. You know, we're going to be doing gelato. We're going to be doing fresh olive oil and tastings. Foods that we're getting frozen from North Carolina that the guys are shipping it into us. We're talking about pressing fresh juice. There's different. It's a more fresh attitude there that we're going to try to establish here. It's an interesting concept, if you will.
Yeah.
And it blends, I think, well with the coffee shop, and I think it's good for the island. It's going to give people on the island an alternative to leaving the island to get something, you know. So, and it's going to be family, you know, oriented, you know, so the kids, you feed your kids, and, you know, so on. So we're excited about it. We expect to be open in the new year.
Yeah.
Fully open in the new year, and partially open by mid-month. So it's heading in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. So Ramon, for our listeners out there, they're just hearing about DI Coffee Bar and DI Sidebar for the first time. Where can the listeners find you?
You know, we're on Davis Island. We're easy to find. The addresses are 212 East Davis Boulevard. We're right there on the commercial strip. We're at 2 blocks of commercial strip. We're on the left-hand side. We're easy to find. It's pretty. It's not hard to find it here, and it's. We're open from 7 o'clock in the morning, I think, during the weekdays, till 8 o'clock during the weekdays, and 10 o'clock on Friday and Saturday nights, because we play music on the Friday night. And Saturday night we'll bring someone up here to play as well. I've been talking to I can't ever think of the name of that. I can't think of the name of it, but I'm really playing with an idea of bringing somebody in that plays this thing that's got all the strings on it.
I know what you're talking about. I just
Oh
don't
my God! I
remember
was
either.
listening to the stuff that she plays.
A harp?
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's a harp. You know, thinking about sitting her up here, or even in the front during. We got a holiday market coming over here on the 7th of December. There's going to be a holiday market out here with all kind of vendors and things like that. It's a big day on Davis Island. You know, there's a lot of things happen on Davis Island. The golf cart parade, the boat parade that goes through the channel. I mean, there's just all kind of things going on here. There was a turkey trot the other day where they're running around the island, a whole bunch of folks. You know, it's community stuff that people enjoy. That golf cart parade, there'll be 200 dressed up golf carts driving through this island over here. It's a fun day for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Ramon, pleasure to have you on the show. Appreciate having you, and super excited for our viewers to come through the DI Coffee Bar, and hopefully for one of those jazz nights.
Thank you very, very much. I
Pleasure.
appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.